Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grandpa Brian and Lucky Stone Talk About Stuff. And today's topic is: does God need worshipers, or do we need God? Well, that was the idea. That was the question. But most importantly, how was your week this week?
This week wasn't too bad. I went and seen my lung doctor.
Oh, good.
I haven't seen him since I was in the hospital. And the first thing he says, "Do you remember me from the hospital?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then he showed me the CAT scan of my lungs, and I got two spots, one on each lung that's really not big, but it's emphysema from all the years of smoking.
Hmm.
Uh, Now that I quit, it's not going to get any worse, but most likely it's probably not going to get any better.
Mm.
My breathing's good. He said my
Oh,
lungs are clear, so I don't go back and see him for until in February, and we'll do some breathing tests at that point in time because it'd be about 9 months since I quit smoking. So I'm actually on day 78 now without a cigarette. So
wow.
yeah, just quit cold turkey. No no Nicorette gum, no
Mm.
patches, no nothing. Just quit.
Yeah, that's how my quit was. I tried everything. I tried all kinds of drugs, herbal stuff. A behavior used on your phone, an app on the phone. I tried a book. Nothing worked. But when I quit by myself, I got the flu, and I got the flu bad where I couldn't do anything. My lungs were so packed, and I got close to pneumonia, and that's when I quit because by the time I cleared up everything and I could smoke again, I had gone through the most of the big what is it
Withdrawals.
the withdrawals because I didn't feel it because I was so sick. So at that point, I just said, "Yeah, I'm not going back." Um, but people have asked me, and I'm like, "No, my quit was cannot be repeated because that's the thing. It was just so I was so sick, which kind of what you went through. You were so sick that
Right.
it kind of helped you get through the withdrawals. But
Yeah. But when
but
you
still,
can't breathe, it makes you really think, okay, do I really need those cigarettes?
yeah, that's what happened to me. I had the flu, and then I got close to. I didn't have pneumonia, but they said I was borderline, and they were worried, and that was. But again, smoking was out because I couldn't get anything in my lungs anyways if I wanted to. But yeah, smoking's crazy. It is. It is yeah. That's the thing is quitting. There's no quit. There's no perfect quit. It is just it's all personal because it's crazy how your body just does these things. Your mind and your body and smoking is a weird practice.
Yep. So how's your week been?
It has been interesting to say the least. Different people like I've been going through people, getting things done and then miscommunications and um, I'm big on this is this is where I am, this is what we need, and this is how I think we should get it. But because I work third shift, so that's when my shift in the morning. That's what I present. But when I come in, they give me nothing. So I have to go back to because I have to go back to my boss and say this is not working for me. We need a better system. But I got to do it in a political way. I got to do it a nice way. I got to do it a friendly way, and I am not sure how to do that. So I've been thinking about it. I've been using AI, saying, "Hey, I'm having problems," and basically writing it all out and see what AI comes up. But again, it's misunderstanding, and I'm like, "Yeah, that solution is not going to work." Um, my AI wants me to go above my boss's head. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that
Mm-mm.
because it's like, but if the system's not working, sometimes you got to go above and beyond. I'm like, no, no, that's not a solution. And I have to clear it because if I don't clear out the conversation, it'll continue the last conversation, which was basically going over my boss's head. I'm like, no, you can't do it that way. But yeah, AI is funny like that, where it comes up with great solutions, and other times it's just it gets stuck on its solution that it won't work because on efficiency scale, it presents nice. It presents as a good, well thought out idea about how to email. But again, including my boss's boss, this that's not that's going to get me into trouble. I'm not ready to do that yet. But yeah, it's I'm big on communication, and that's the thing. And then I run into that I find things later that haven't been completed, but I wasn't told about it, and I'm like, I got to rush this to get this done so that because the window of before becomes late is getting smaller. But that's just me. I like to get things done. That's another thing is that I like to get things done now rather than waiting to the due date. Um, I had a one-on-one with my boss that all the personal review had to be done at the end of June, and then they moved it to the end of July. And rather than my boss saying, "Oh, let's get it done," we had to be done by the end of June, June 30th. Now it's the July 31st. Oh, I'll relax and not worry about it. For me, I wanted to get it done. I got my part done in the middle of June, but because it was put off another month, he just let it go until the last day of July 31st, and then I had a one-on-one with him yesterday, and he canceled it and rescheduled it for next week. And I had to tell him that date doesn't work for me, and he's out. He's out for the rest of the week, and I'm like, hey, I can't use that date because I already have things scheduled. Um, he said, well, we need this meeting. I'm like, no, you need this meeting. I was kind of rude about that, but I if people let things go, it's not my problem. But yeah, it is a balancing act. But again, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, basically.
Yeah.
But
So,
tomorrow I'm going to a hike with it's called the fern hike, where we're checking out different species of fern. I saw it online. I'm like, hey, I know my ferns, but let's pretend I don't, and then maybe I can learn something by pretending, by just basically learning from the beginning. Just letting the instructor do its thing, and that's my new thing is that I don't need to know everything, and even if I do know something, let's go back and go, okay, let's let the presenter present his stuff, and maybe I can learn something new and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what I think is wrong, but uh, also it's a hike. I want to do a hike on a Saturday. It's in the mountains. It all works out nice.
how long's the hike?
It's only an hour and a half. It's maybe 2 hours. I think it's a schedule for 2 hours, but they say it's going to take an hour and a half. So they say it's going to go from 10 to noontime with an expert. It's like some of the this is a it's like the Audubon Society, but it's not Audubon Society. It's called the Trustees. They buy land, like old mansions and their land, and rather than letting developers come and build apartment complexes on them, they keep the land because the funny thing about rich people, they know how to take care of their land. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them they let go to nature. Other times they have like beautiful, topiary stuff like that. And rather than, because sometimes when a developer comes, everything gets leveled and they just rebuild. And that's what this company, it's a nonprofit, but they just buy land for the regular people. So rich people owned it, and then they buy it. Sometimes the rich people will donate it to them, but again, even if the rich people donate it, it costs money for upkeep. So um, I think I pay like $80 a year just to be a member of it. But again, some of the hikes are like one of them was $80, some are $60. Usually they're about $20. This one was $5, and I think it's just because the $5 goes um, the charity, whatever they want to call it, the program, and he just does it for entertainment. He does it because he likes to get out. So he just okay, I'll do it on the grounds. $5 will go to the people, and I just do it because I get to get out. I think that's what it is because he's a naturalist, and also maybe also it's kind of fun to teach people.
Yeah,
There's a few
it
people like
is.
that. Odd one does that too, where people will do walks with birds and butterflies, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, do you think God needs your worship?
I have been thinking long because that's what Wayne says. No one ever answers my question. Why does God need worshipers and why do we need God? And I thought to myself, I don't think the creator God ever even considered having worshipers. I think the Creator God created the Elohim, the first level, and they got together and they created humans. And then the idea was we're going to let the humans do their thing, free choice to see what happens. But then another layer got created, which, the demiurge. And I don't think the demiurge can reproduce. I don't think the demiurge can produce any other higher beings. But I think somehow he didn't follow the rules and he said, I want worshipers because maybe he's not fully there because I think he's a copy and a copy and a copy. So every time you make a copy, I don't think it's pure. But I think the God of the Bible does want worshipers, but I don't think it's the creator, and that's the thing. And then Wayne said that the creator created death. I don't think the creator created death. I think the demiurge, the God of the Bible, which I think is not the true God, he's just a being. And I think that's the idea that I've been thinking about long and hard. And I think that the big thing that this being does is he knows what people to manipulate, and those people to manipulate run the religions and also the government. So I think the government and the religion is in the same box. But again, that's but I think been thinking long and hard about it. But what do you think? Do you think God needs worshipers?
True source, no. The demiurge, yes, because that's what he desires is worship. Uh, and the church is so happy to give it to him. Uh, the one person that didn't want worship was Jesus, but yet there's so many people that worship him. And, it's like the entity of Ra when he came here uh, to the Egyptians. You know, they totally misunderstood the reason why they came. And Christianity represents the reason why Jesus came. The Egyptians worshiped the sun god Ra, and, basically, you look at Christianity, they worship Jesus.
Yeah, I think Jesus was a religion, or I don't. I think there was a being, the Christ. Let's make it easier because Jesus didn't exist. That doesn't matter. Let's put that on the side. The
Right.
Christ consciousness. I think the Christ consciousness exists. It's a higher thought form, and whether it was a group of people or a single person or a man and a woman, which I think it might most likely was a couple. I think Jesus and Mary Magdalene, that symbolic pair. I think there was two people, and I think they taught about love and compassion because they did things that were impossible at the time, which are women were equal to men, um, prostitutes were just women who supposedly cheated on their husbands, things like that. No, everyone was equal. It was about love and compassion, and at that time, that was impossible. There was even now that's a difficult concept, but bet 2,000 years ago. But with that, I think there was a successful religion in the Roman Empire about love and compassion, and they said these people are taking over, and we can't have them because they have no leader, they have no God. It's all about personal responsibility. We need to circumvent it, and that's when they invented the Jesus and the rules and about the Father and everything else. Because I think that Jesus taught about the main Creator and not about the Father of the Old Testament. Again, I've been thinking about this long and hard, and I always think I keep saying that over and over again. And no one answers my question. I'm like, yeah, I do. I answer it. I don't think the God of the Bible exists as the creator. I think humans created that God, but I think humans got. I think humans themselves work with that God and created that Bible, but it's not the creator God. It's not the original, the first creation God. I think the first creation God was a group of people who got together and says, let's create this being, and then after that it became, let's limit them, let's take them down a peg, because I do think that the original creation God, humans were Neanderthals, the Homo sapiens, I think it was a whole group of humans, and they all worked together. But they chose us because we're the most fallible. We're not as strong as a Neanderthal. Neanderthal were also very creative and smart, and Neanderthal get a lot of stuff, but of course we think of them as cavemen and primitive. But the more we learn about them, the more we learn that they had ape-like features, but their activity was much more compassion. They were there was some belief that they were female-centered, which goes with the bonobo, which are like chimpanzees, but a peaceful version of chimpanzees. And I think, but then they created the Elo, and I mean, the demiurge decided with those who created God, created wanted to supplement humans to get rid of all the other versions of humans because they were too smart and and too strong, and he chose us, which we have thinner skin. Um, we don't live as long. I think we manipulated so they could control us. But then the people like us who expanded our minds and open to this kind of thing and personal responsibility, and we know that the creator God, even though he doesn't want worship, he's still there as a source of information, of power, of energy. What do you think?
Uh, uh, well, you also said, Wayne said, the God created death. I mean, what is death? Our true essence is energy, and that energy never dies. It's only the flesh that dies. So, I mean, would you want to be stuck in this body for 100,000 years? I mean,
That
these bodies aren't made to last, but 116 years at the most.
hmm
So, eventually these meat suits that we get shoved into are going to, you know, just eventually wear out. It's just like any airthing, a battery dies in something that you keep recharging after so long, then the battery just doesn't want to hold a charge anymore. It's the same way with our bodies, We keep going and going and going. They only last so long, and then, you know, comes the expiration date and you're done. But the true essence of us, the energy, that that never dies. It only just transforms into it. Yeah.
no, no, that's a great point because the concept of death, there is no death. That's another thing. He says that we live in the death realm, but I think that's the wrong mindset because death is a concept that really it means an end, but there is no end because we're even our bodies, even when our spirit leaves our body gets recycled unless you put it in a coffin and let it get rotted and sit inside that box. But technically, when we die, every part of us will get recycled into the earth and regenerated again. Actually, even the bodies in graveyards, eventually the graveyards will break down. So it all gets recycled. So there is no real end except for the graveyards where we put people in the ground and cover them with concrete. That's the difference. But in other words, everything gets recycled. And once we leave this physical manifestation, this physical body, our spirit moves on, and there's no end. It's just so the concept of living in the death realm kind of limits you when we say that we're eternal. It gives us an ending, And also, there's another thing I was thinking about. I forget it, but again, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just about we're we're here um, to go through the process. Um, Scotty Boy's here. Hello, Scotty Boy. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming. And Elderberry. Thank you, Elderberry. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you guys coming. Uh, and I know Scotty Boy, they want you on Truth Wave. I say whenever you feel comfortable, you do what you want. I don't. That's crazy. But welcome here. If you have anything to say, great. I'd love to hear it. But Thank you for coming, Scotty boy. Thank you for coming, Elderberry. So I see. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing. I agree. I agree that the body goes through the process, but eventually, I don't want to be in this body and decrepit and and unable to move, make it difficult, um, become a burden to other people. Those are things I don't want. So living forever is not what I want. You're right. You're right.
yeah. But I kind of agree with Wayne that where we're living at right now is the death realm because you got to think when we're born in blood.
Hmm.
Uh, we basically consume death, whether it's an animal eating, eating meat or vegetables, because that they're a living, growing plant, but yet we gotta harvest them to eat. So basically, everything that you need to survive in this, except for oxygen and water, is basically you're consuming death. So, I do consider this kind of somewhat the death realm because you got to consume death to survive.
I'm on a different thing because I think this is all just it's kind of like a game where, yes, we do consume other energies, but in the end, we all choose our little time here. Um, the plants, they had their limited time here. Some live forever, but again, they donate parts of them, but they can continue going on. Animals, they have short lives, but again, a bunch of chickens. Chickens, we limit their lives, but that's not something different. But yeah, we do have to consume animals. I try to limit that, but that's a difficult process because even if you do go on the vegetarian path, it can be tough. It can be a tough process because health wise, nutrition wise, um, I don't know what the heck I am. I do limit my meat products, but I don't. I would never say I'm a vegetarian. Like if I go to I drive my mother crazy because she knows that she says I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat beef and pork products. But again, I still will eat them if I'm going to a party or a barbecue. I will eat beef and pork as it presented to me because I choose not to eat it in my own time. But if I'm out with other people, I do not make it my moniker, my name tag. I don't, and that's what if I go out because that's the thing was when went to dinner with Thanksgiving. My mother put together a special food for me because she says, "I know how you're vegetarian." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is the one thing I'm not is changing it to fit mine. I'm here to fit the party. I'm going to be consuming what everyone else consumes. I'm going to limit my meat intake, but I'm not going to change it and say, "Hey, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat that stuff, and you guys are cruel for torturing animals." No, it's a choice thing, and that's the thing, and that goes back to Jesus. I think Jesus said, we're each have a choice to make. We're not here to convert anybody. We're just here to live our own lives in kindness. But again, that also goes to a Buddhist thing because I was reading a book by a Buddhist, and he says, no, yes, I am a vegetarian. I don't eat any meat products, but if meat products goes into my bowl, I will consume it because someone gave it to me as a donation, and I will not refuse it because that would be rude. Um, so, and it's a thing, and it's that kind of mindset where, yes, day to day, I go for more of a vegetarian lifestyle, but when it comes to other people, I live the life that's around me, and that's just how you don't make a spectacle. You just live your life. Um, it goes. I drive my wife crazy too because she says she tells me, "Oh, I want to give up pork and beef like you do." I'm like, I don't give it up though. I just limit it, and it's just one of those things. It's a personal choice, but it's not about changing my life entirely. I don't want to
Right.
become a spectacle, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but
This week I've been kind of beating my head around, when people start talking about, your soul contracts that you have with people, but not only that, just contracts you sign in general to learn lessons here. And Jim said something the other night, well, if you fail the lesson, you're going to have to repeat it. And I just started kind of shaking my head, and he's like, "You have something to add to that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking bunch of fucking bullshit." I was like, I was like, what people don't realize is these soul contracts, all this lessons that you agree to do, and this, that, and the other, they're distractions. They don't care if you pass or fail. It's a distraction to keep you from figuring out who you truly are and how to navigate your way through this lifetime. Basically, it's all about keeping you distracted so you do not know who you truly are, that you can't remember. And that's what we're here to do in this lifetime, is to remember where we came from, our connections to source, this, that, and the other. But when you're busy doing lessons and this contract and that contract, it's all distractions. And I was telling him, I was like, it's a bunch of bullshit. I was like, who gives a shit if you fell? You know, it's just you. You don't care if you fell or not. They they don't care if you fell or not. You might, but they don't. It's all distraction. And yeah, he really did. That's the first time I kind of like, he was speechless. Really didn't know what to say when I said, it doesn't matter if you pass or fail. It's all distraction to keep you distracted from figuring out who you truly are. And he was talking about his wife that passed away, and there was three light beings that came and said, "Hey, we would like you to go. You can check out if you want, but we would like you to go back. There's three things we would like you to do." And I mouthed all to, "Come on, this is tell call them what you want." I said them light beings were archons, basically forcing her to come back. And he didn't know what it sounds like. A lot of people, you got to start learning about what's truly on the other side and how you're going to be treated on the other side, and what to expect when you cross over. And I said it ain't all hunky dory and you know kitties and puppies. You know,
Yeah, and
and beating my head against a lot of shit this week, and figuring out that they're setting things up to basically keep us distracted in this lifetime and all of our previous lifetimes. It's all about keeping you distracted so you don't know who in the hell you are.
I kind of agree. Where I think we decide what we wanted to have in this life. We decided that this is the experiences we want to have. It wasn't about lessons; it's about experiences we wanted to have. But that contract got manipulated to, rather than I want these experiences where you have to complete these things. And I think you're right. I think what happened was we signed up to say, hey, I want to do these. I want to experience these things. And now when we die, rather than being free to say, yeah, did you want to try this again, or did you just want to, try something else, or just they said, hey, you didn't complete these. It got, rather than saying I want those experiences, it became an obligation rather than an experience. You're right. I think that's what happens. That those at the gate tell you you missed this, rather than going, oh, you didn't get to experience that. You want to try again next time, or you want to just try something different. I think that's the problem. The contract, I don't think the contract is an obligation. I think a contract is something that, what would you like to do? A plan. It's basically a plan written in pencil rather than a rules written in stone. That's the difference. I think the archons tell us it's written in stone, but the truth is, spirit says it's just in pencil. It can be changed. It can be erased. It's not permanent. It's on like a whiteboard where you write it down, but oh, you didn't get to do that. You didn't get to check that one. want to erase it or you want to try again. That's it. But again, archons say you didn't check that box. You got to go back. That's I think that's where we're being manipulated. I think we want some experiences, but instead of afterwards, it's you didn't get to experience them. It's they change it so you didn't get to you have to. Um, that's the problem. I agree with you. And at the end, it became less about you didn't get to. It became you have to. And then I think that's our problem. That's the evil part. I think that's the demonic part where we're we're forced back rather than going. Eh, it's I think the whole thing's manipulated. That's it. And I also don't think that the um, Wayne has said before about being judged. I don't think the end is anyone judging us. I think it's us sitting down and going, okay, let's go over your life and let's just talk about it rather than, but the archons put themselves there. They don't belong there, but they kind of weasel their way in to say, "Oh, you've sinned, you've made mistake, you've fallen." But the real truth is another aspect of yourself saying, um, let's just have a discussion over it. I think that's the problem where if you get stuck in the idea that you have to be challenged, you have to be judged, you will be judged because you invite them in. When you get the idea of let's just go over the life, um, well, the replay of the life, it's just playing it over and saying, how was it? What was it like? Which there was a movie called Defending Your Life with oh Brooks, Alan Brooks, and Shirley MacLaine was in it, and it was basically just after you die, you go to this trial and they talk about it, but it was mostly about just showing your life and then talking about it afterwards, and then the whole idea was, did you beat fear? And that's all life was about. Then I got deeper into the idea of, is this life about being fear? But I don't think it's about being fear. I think it's about the unknown. I think it's beating the unknown and not letting the unknown control you, because I think that's all fear is, unknown. Letting the unknown scare you. But again, that's me thinking. I got deeper and deeper into this. It gets convoluted. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
who knows what goes on the other side when you cross over. The thing is, you know, I kind of know if I truly want to, I can escape and not cross over. But, I don't want to go back to the Paroma because once you go back to the Paroma, basically you don't exist anymore because you become part of the all. So now it's, if I don't cross over, what the hell am I going to do? You know, where can my spirit go if I don't go back to the Paroma and I don't cross over to the other side? I'd like to leave this planet and experience other planets.
I think you can. I honestly, I think that's the unknown. Again, the unknown getting to us, where you're thinking about the Paroma, which is the end, being rejoining the whole, being part of the all. You don't want to go all the way to that step, but you want to, you know, get off the Earth part and try something else somewhere else. I think that's wide open for us. And the only idea is, I think there are requirements where you have to be a better being. Don't be selfish. Jesus. I think that's the thing. The teachings of Jesus open up the doors to saying, hey, you're you don't have to go back to Earth because you're showing a higher consciousness. There are other options around the universe, and I think that's what opens us up to. You don't have to go to the source of all. You can go to any of the other ones and experience those kind of lives. And I don't think it's anything within our own mindset that we can even understand experiences of the other planets. Because we think of, if it's not Earth, there's no life. But I mean, Jupiter might have a form of life that we don't even understand. Even Venus might have life on it. We might. That's another thing, is that there might be entities, spiritual entities, that go from Venus to Earth back and forth again, and they want to bring us along to have the experience. But again, we're so stuck in this fear matrix mindset that we can never go to Venus, or, well, not so Mars. Mars, who knows? There might be other experiences that we can't comprehend, but once we pass away, with the right mindset, we can experience in the next life. But again, I'm just I'm just guessing because I don't know anything.
Uh, well, I definitely have the right mindset to get the hell out of here.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Uh, it's just finding where I want to go. Uh, Trina says something there. What if there's basically a different source for every galaxy? Because you got to think, hell, in our galaxy, how many stars are there? And then you got to think how many planets are revolving around them stars. And then you look at how many galaxies there are. That's a lot for one source to create.
Hmm.
So I wonder if there's multiple sources, like a source for each galaxy, and that source, you know, basically creates that galaxy. And it could be when the Big Bang happened that, maybe there was one source at one time, and then when all these galaxies came about from the Big Bang, wonder if that original source fractaled off to where a fractal of it is in each galaxy created.
That I that's what I think. Yes, I agree, because I think that's what happened, where the Big Bang was the original source, and it copied itself, boom, and multiple times, where each of the, let's just say, the seeds for each of the galaxies, and each of those galaxies copied themselves for each of the solar systems, and so that, which would go back to Ra, being maybe the one true God for this planet was the sun, but then it got manipulated because the sun doesn't really want worshippers. But the other ones were, the other one lower wants the worshippers, like Zeus. Um, I don't know. It basically,
If it's a god of a religion, then it wants worship.
right.
Shiva, whatever you know, whatever
Actually,
religion.
and what I learned about the Norse gods, they really didn't. The, from again, that's what we still have from the Norse gods, but even Odin did everything. He broke the rules. Odin was, he got into spell work, which was for women, which was forbidden. But Odin was the Norse god, and it kind of proved that even the Norse god didn't need to follow the rules. And I think that the Norse might have been the ones who said, "Hey, we're not here to be worshipped. We're here to give you an example," which is what Jesus said: "Live by my example." But Christianity was about follow, scared, fear, do what I say. Do what I say, not as I do. That's the thing. Exactly. Do not kill, but then unless I tell you to kill. That's the Christian, whatever, the Abrahamic God, which is, yeah, do what I say unless I tell you to do something different. Oh boy, that's the difference. I don't know. I don't know if the Norse gods, we just don't know enough about them. Um, I mean, even their worst, their demon, which is Loki. Um, Loki wasn't always evil. He was mischievous. He was fun. He challenged the gods, but he also did evil things. That's how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. The Norse had, there wasn't good and evil. There was just a little bit of both. While Christianity says, I'm God, that's the devil, those are demons, it's a Satan. These are angels, these are demons. Different. Even Egyptian religion, they did have one demon, but even then, Set, they Set was a necessary evil. So each of the gods had good and bad parts, and then the Set, he was a necessary evil. So, oof, yeah, Farrier, yes.
Uh, so what if, let's just say, uh, a demon and an angel are the same being, but just different aspects of that being?
Yeah, that I agree. That I 100% agree, because the only demons I met were from human creations. But you're right, because if I have an angel working for me against somebody else, no question about it. That other person that I'm having my angel help me against somebody, that's a demon to them. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Demons and angels are just the same core, just different aspects, all verse perspective. But I don't know. It is a lot to think about. It is interesting though. But yeah, I do not think God of the Bible exists. I think he exists, but I don't think he's the all powerful. I don't think he's the creator. I think the creator God and the God of the Bible are two different entities. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And the creator God, I don't think the creator God created death as much as he created an experience that you can experience it, but then it got manipulated by the Abrahamic God who decided that you got to follow my rules. You do as I say, unless I tell you to do something different.
Huh. What if uh, Sophia is actually religion, and religion is the one that created the demiurge? Because basically, the demiurge is an egregore.
That's a. I'm not really. I've been thinking back and forth about this one, where I do believe that is partially true, where religion needed something to say, hey, we we're in power, and I know God, and that's when the demiurge said, oh, those people want a God. I want worshipers, and it kind of stepped in that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if the demiurge was created, but I do think it was out there around where people got together, and there was some powerful beings, powerful people. Powerful people needed some clout, and the demiurge stepped into that place. Um, that's just my thought process, because I'm not sure. Because yes, we can create egregores, but I think also that there are some beings out there without worshippers who want them. Um, Maybe egregores who were created by other people and those people go away. Oh, I got to find someone else to worship me, and convince them that I'm the one. I
So,
don't
did
know.
we actually create religion, or was religion created from outside forces?
I
And I
believe.
mean,
I think really. Yeah, I 100% believe all religion was created. I don't think. I don't think supposedly we have the religion gene. I don't think we do. I think that's something else that they manipulated to call it the religion gene. Um,
I
I
never heard of
think
the religious gene.
well, scientists find things and then later they change their minds. So I think that's what happens. I mean, supposedly, but that was years ago that I learned about the religion gene. That might have been 20 years ago, and then I just because I didn't believe in it, I just moved on. But yeah, supposedly that humans have a religion gene. That
Huh.
also might have been an excuse. It might have been scientists trying to belittle religious people.
Huh. Never heard that.
Yeah, it's again, sometimes people find things and they got to put a label to it. That might have been it. They needed a label for something and they called it the religion gene. Who knows? But I don't think we need religion. I do think that humans create a religion, and the demiurge stepped in and go, hey, yeah, I want that. But I also think that it I think it was out around, and it just I think that's the thing. I think that it was out around doing things around the area. It might have been Enki or whatever it was in the Sumerian, and then it left the Sumerians because the Sumerians broke apart, and then it went to the Hebrews and went with them for a little while, and actually may have gone from the Sumerians to the Egyptians, from the Egyptians to the Hebrews, and then from there, um, it shook up Rome and said, you know what, Rome is a big powerful thing. I'm going to jump from the Hebrews, keep my foot in there, but also take over the Roman pantheon and get rid of all the other ones. Um, I don't know. Again, because Rome went from a polytheistic mindset to a monotheistic with Christianity, and how that happened, I don't really understand. But I think that the demiurge took it over. I'm still not quite sure why Greek. That's the thing. And the weird thing is that you have the Hebrew religion, but a lot of it is written in Greek because Greek was, I guess, the scholars' language. But I don't think Jesus or anyone who was put in the Christ place ever spoke Greek. I think he spoke the local dialect, but somehow it became Greek. That they wrote it down in Greek. We never know. We'll never know. And maybe we'll. Maybe we'll know. Maybe there'll be a book that'll come out that someone will say it was been hidden for 3,000 years to say, okay, here's the truth. There's no Jesus, but his real name was, I don't know. I don't know a Hebrew name, but you get the point.
Right. Well, there was no Jesus because the letter J didn't exist back
Exactly.
then.
Right.
It was definitely a different name.
And part of me also believes it was a group. It wasn't just a single person. It was a group of people who had different perspectives, who discovered it independently and got together and said, hey, yeah, that's it. Um, could have been Buddhist monks meeting with Zoroastrian, meeting with Hebrews, and together they came to say, hey, this is a common consensus. This might be the truth. We all have the same idea, but it's been manipulated. But here's the core truth. And I think that might have been the whole thing, is that we all have a core truth. All religions have a core truth, but it keeps being manipulated for power.
Yeah. Well, Valentine came one vote short from being the Pope of Rome. And if he became the Pope of Rome, Christianity would have been a lot different than what it is now because he
Okay.
was more of along the lines of the Gnosis.
Mhm.
And basically, after he fell that one vote short, that's when they started in on burning all the books, any libraries that had to do with Gnosis, and totally discredit him. Kind of like what our
Yeah.
government does now with people that, you know, go against their narrative. They just start putting out disinformation to discredit them.
Yeah, that's the problem right there. Is when you jump from one group to another group, to keep switch like pendulum, like this pendulum's life. Amy Lar Tribe. Hello, Amy Lar Tribe. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I think that's the big problem. Is our biggest problem in life is the dualistic life where everything's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to manipulate us, rather than going, okay, why don't we sit in the middle and just come some kind of a consensus here? But no, they don't want us to consensus. They want to pretend that they're fighting and nothing gets done. Oh,
Yeah,
Amaya. Okay, hello, Amaya. Oh, there we go. Now I see. Hello, Maya. My eyes. That's why I tune your I to an L. Hello, Maya.
You got to think everything is duality.
Mhm.
You, you have to have that duality to keep balance, and
Yes,
everything is all about balance.
yes, I know you are. I know you're from Truth Wave. Yes, definitely. Yes, balance. Yeah, I think that's the thing. That yeah, they want to keep us. They want to knock us off balance so they can bring balance to our lives, but it's all manipulated. That's unfortunate. But it's in our control, and that's another thing is that they take away our thought that we can control our because I mean I know for a fact got thunder coming in. Um, I know I can manipulate, no, not manipulate. I know I can manifest anything I put my mind to. Um, but again, it only becomes within reason because I need to believe that I can do these things. I think that's it. I think that I think we can manifest absolutely anything we want, but we're also given the thought that we need to be controlled because we're afraid that we might manifest the wrong thing. But I don't think we can. I don't think any of us can really manifest the wrong thing.
No, I mean, you could possibly manifest the wrong thing, but I doubt that can happen. Uh, so before we meet again next Friday, we got a solar eclipse somewhere here, and I know it's not in the United States, maybe in the Middle East on the 12th,
Yes, on 12th, yes.
which I think is what next Wednesday. Yep,
Let's see.
Wednesday. Plus, you got these planetary alignments, so the energy right now is kind of wonky.
Yes.
Uh, so it's going to really start affecting people, especially with these alignments. I think with this, something energetic wise is going to go on between this eclipse and then there's a lunar eclipse right near the end of the month. So that time frame in between them, I think there's going to be some wonky energy going on that we're really going to have to deal with. And plus, Lionsgate. Yeah, there's a lot of energies going on right now that's probably going to actually affect you in the way you're thinking. You could have trouble manifesting things in this time period because of the energies that are going on. But this could also be a time for us to try to remember who we truly are and use these energies to our advantage instead of a disadvantage.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't believe in negativity, so that's what. But I'm also Pollyanna-ish,
Yeah,
so I don't know I'm limited till it happens. But yeah, things have been getting weird. I do realize that things have been getting weird lately. But I've
yeah,
also been like things have been I've been manifesting things at a rate that I'm not expecting sometimes. Things been popping into my life that I'm like, wait, how did that doesn't make any sense. I love. Oh, I had last weekend, maybe two weekends ago. I had poison ivy. I could not find my calamine lotion anywhere. So after a couple of days, I went out and I bought a bottle of calamine lotion. I bought one bottle of calamine lotion. I have four right now. Where they came from, I don't know. It's in so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, honestly. Where the other three bottles came from, it does. And I asked my wife. She goes, "No, no, I didn't put them there. Like, where did they come from? They just Um, it's I bought one. I didn't buy four. But again, it is what it is. I hate that saying. I honestly, it is what it is when the I hear so often, and I end up saying it, and it's just something that I don't think it is. I think it's in our own power to make it, but that mindset, it is what it is to give up. But no, I don't. I don't want to ever give up. I want to still consider the options and move forward.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, I think that's it. I think the problem with it is what it is that you just accept that's how it is. There's nothing you can do about it. But for me, I always want to look at the options. I always want to find other options. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's part of me. The benefit of my thought is that it is what it is. Just causes me, to cringe a bit because like no, there is other options. I will find the other option.
Yeah. But, I kind of look at it this way too, that there is no good, there is no bad, there just is.
That's true. I agree. It
And
is the yeah. It's energy. Yes.
hmm my daughter had a hard time grasping that. Because she couldn't believe that group that were saying that. Even Heather said that. There's and she's like, well, yeah. I was like, no, there. You got to accept. They're everybody's here to play a part, whether it's good or bad. You have to have a balance. There's the scale will tip one way or the other. Like right now, I think we're on that pendulum swing where it's really starting to go up, and things are starting to turn our way, and I think we're starting to move away from all the negativity shit and everything, and all the truths are starting to come out, and people are like, really learning about what our government really is, what religion really is, and the deeper we go, the more truths are going to come out, and the more that pendulum is going to start swinging back up, and then we'll get rid of a lot of the negative aspects of our government, religion. Uh, Not to say that it's totally going to disappear, because like I said, you have to have that balance no matter what. You know, there's always going to be that balance. It can be way to the light, but there's still going to be that little bit of darkness somewhere, because you just can't have. Uh, what was it in one of the Superman movies? If he is all powerful, then he can't be all good. If he's all good, then he can't be all powerful.
Ah,
You kind of understand what I'm saying. So there has to be a balance.
yeah. Interesting. It's an interesting thought process. Hmm.
Yeah, we got a lot of navigating in our lifetimes. I mean,
That's true.
you
True.
know, and it's not just what we do in our day to day lives that we have to navigate through. It's all this other lies and bullshit that we have to navigate our ways through to figure out what is the truth, and where did we come from? How do we proceed from here? You know, if Deb, we are winning.
Yes. Yes. We're always winning. Hmm.
I seen in the news the other day, how our federal government went after Fauci,
Yes.
they subpoenaed him, and basically he kept saying he pled the fifth and everything. Well, I guess now there's individual states, the attorney general subpoenas, you know, starting to subpoena him. Uh, the truth's going to come out about what happened
Yes.
6 years ago.
Yes. That's true. It all's going to come out. Eventually, it all has to come out.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's going to be able to be protected.
You're right. But hmm, hmm. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out because power is always there. If he's got friends in powerful places, he might just disappear.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple ways he might be disappearing
Yeah,
too.
true.
Just ask Jimmy
Yeah,
Hoffa.
yeah. It might be a liability.
Oh, it's definitely a liability because he can name names. And do you think they want names being named?
Right, right.
No. Yeah. Why do you think they got rid of Epstein so quick?
Hmm.
You really truly think they wanted him naming names and talking about what he truly knew what went on?
True, 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 true. Mm. It's all very convoluted, but
Yeah.
it all comes out. The truth comes out eventually, no matter what they do. The truth will always be out. Will always
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah. And I try not to worry about it. I can only control what I can control. I
True.
you know, I just seen that as I might have been making my dinner plate because they watch the national news. I stay downstairs.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't I don't put my energy in the news.
Mm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I've got thunderstorms coming in, so I might lose connection because they tend to do weird things when the thunderstorms come in.
yeah. I think it's Ellerberry has thunderstorms down there. Earlier, I think he said he got like yesterday just 3.5 inches of rain
Oof.
just yesterday.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like a couple of our days last month. Well, we
Mm.
had some really, really rainy days where we got 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in one day.
Mm.
But now my garden's going good.
Great.
I
Excellent.
I can't get it to rain through the week, and I come down here on the weekends and all it wants to do is rain.
Yep.
So I didn't get to do nothing last weekend because every time I went to walk out the door to go do something, it start raining on me.
Hmm.
So it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm hope not because I got grass to cut, got work in the garden. Yeah, just got a few things that I've neglected down here that I need to get done.
Yeah, I know how that is. Yeah, I got a few projects myself that I got to get done this weekend. But I'm gonna hike tomorrow morning and then come back and do some stuff. Yeah, humidity. Boy, the humidity's coming in. Yeah. All right. Have anything to sum this up? I can't think of anything right now. We went all over the place with this.
Uh, just know that God doesn't need your worship. If God's asking for your worship, then it ain't a God worth worshiping.
Very good. That actually is a perfect point. That is a good way to sum it up. Yes, I agree with you. 100%.
That's how I look at it. If they want your worship, then they ain't worth worshiping.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So everybody, thank you all for watching. If you have any comments, please put. That's what the comment section is for. And man, what you have to say, I'll read it, and it's okay. Even if it's a judgmental or critical, it's okay with me. Uh, have a good night, everyone. Like this, hate this. What's next?